Did you get this face after seeing the ending of FNAF RUIN? Can't stop thinking about what happened to Cassie or what the heck this is? Well, don't worry, because today is your lucky day. Sit back, get comfy, and grab a nice slice of pizza, because in this video we're going to explain all the endings of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach RUIN. Even though Security Breach has multiple endings, only one's the true ending, and after playing RUIN, it's been revealed that the Princess Quest ending is canonical in the saga. This is because during the game, Cassie will find drawings that Gregory made around Pizzaplex, imagining what would have happened in the rest of the non-canonical endings. They will all be represented except for the Princess Quest ending, of which there is no drawing. Instead, Cassie finds a destroyed arcade machine, and by using Vanny's mask, a digital sword appears embedded and her final boss on the wall, revealing that the identity of that black mask that appeared in the game was Glitchtrap himself. Continuing with what happens at the end of Security Breach, Gregory would free Vanessa from Glitchtrap's influence by defeating him in Princess Quest, and he would escape with her and Glamrock Freddy, never to return. But it seems that deep within Pizzaplex there was something more, something that explains why Cassie went there and why she made a serious mistake. Now, to understand the endings of RUIN, it's essential to know who the Mimic is, so don't move, I'm going to explain very quickly. According to the Tales from the Pizzaplex books, the Mimic was an animatronic created by Edwin Murray so that his son David would have a friend. It was programmed to mimic any human behavior, initially learning from David's habits. However, when David tragically dies in a car accident, his father Edwin ended up venting all that pain by brutally beating the Mimic, which then, as he was programmed to do, learns from this and becomes a very violent animatronic. Edwin disappears and the Mimic is sent to Pizzaplex, where they program it to clean up remnants of the old pizzeria to turn it into a museum. This would explain why in Security Breach the place is under construction. The problem is, once again, that the Mimic was very aggressive and killed the rest of the employees who were in charge of cleaning that area, so naturally they decided to lock it up in the depths of the pizzeria, thus the Mimic was trapped. At the same time, while trying to create the virtual reality experience of Help Wanted, they scanned real animatronic remains to make it as realistic as possible, with some pieces containing all the agony and evil of William Afton as Springtrap. The system used is known as Mimic 1, which is the same one the Mimic would have installed, so it began to copy all of William Afton's behaviors, creating a virtual entity known as Glitchtrap. Glitchtrap would be a digital copy of William Afton who wanted to come back to life to continue killing, and for that he deceived Vanessa by trying to control her during the beta tester program of Help Wanted. He finally succeeded and Vanessa ended up becoming Vanny, trying to revive the new William Afton using the body of some endoskeleton deep in the pizzeria. The ideal candidate could have been the endoskeleton the Mimic, which in an attempt to mimic what was Springtrap would make a suit similar to that of Afton before he died. And this seems to be what is seen in one of the non-canonical endings of Security Breach, where Glitchtrap finally manages to take control of his new body and revive. Unfortunately for him, however, this was not what actually happened, and the Glitchtrap virus was eliminated in Princess Quest before he could come back to life. Having rescued Vanessa, Gregory couldn't leave Pizzaplex peacefully, so they would go down to the depths of the pizzeria to re-lock up the Mimic, hence Gregory's backpack is thrown on the floor of the pizzeria. The plan was to trick the Mimic with a walkie-talkie, luring him with Gregory's voice to then lock him up in the catacombs. Afterwards, Vanessa designed the MXES security system, which could be based on Glitchtrap's code and therefore be a rabbit, and thus keep the animatronic locked up and not able to harm anyone ever again, until Cassie arrived. As the story of RUIN unfolds, it becomes evident that Cassie considered Gregory one of her best friends because he was the only one who showed up to her birthday to keep her company. The friendship she felt for him was so strong that she didn't hesitate to return to Pizzaplex to search for him after his mysterious disappearance. Unfortunately, Gregory was no longer there, and it was all part of the Mimic's master plan to escape from the pizzeria once and for all. The Mimic had learned from security videos, Glitchtrap, and Gregory's behaviors, and ended up impersonating him to deceive Cassie. And this is where the three possible endings of RUIN come into play. After reaching the old Freddy's pizzeria, Cassie must activate a demolisher machine to pass through a wall, but before that, she has to deactivate the MXES security system, inadvertently releasing the endoskeleton that was imprisoned there. Upon doing so and passing through the hole in the wall, she encounters the Mimic for the first time, who nearly kills her if it weren't for Roxy, who appears in the last moment to save her. Gregory had never been in contact with Cassie until now. Instead, the Mimic had imitated his voice to lure her into the basement of Pizzaplex and set him free, making his plan a success. After this, a chase ensues, leading Cassie through the catacombs of Pizzaplex to an elevator area where she gets trapped. Gregory contacts her to tell her the truth. She should have never come to Pizzaplex, and she was deceived by the Mimic. Gregory says they can't risk the mime following them, causing the elevator to fall and ending the game in the worst possible way. It's not entirely clear if Cassie dies or not in this fall, but Gregory wasn't as good as he seemed in Security Breach and had a more significant secret to hide. This ending is inevitable because there's no other option to progress in the game than to deactivate the security system. In fact, the name Security Breach is probably a reference to how the story ends, with Cassie breaking Pizzaplex's security and unleashing a monster. Everything points to this being the canonical ending of FNAF Ruin, and also confirms that the true ending of Security Breach is the Princess Quest one, with Gregory, Vanessa, and Freddy escaping from Pizzaplex. In the Spanish version of the game, Gregory refers to a female friend, suggesting it's Vanessa who accompanied him outside after Security Breach. After the credits, we can hear Roxanne's voice calling for Cassie.
Cassie.
Implying that the girl might have survived the accident and escaped from the Mimic. The second of the endings is the rarest of them all, both in how it happens and what it means. To reach this ending, you have to deactivate the security system and continue until the Mimic is chasing Cassie. Gregory will give instructions on whether to turn left or right, and if you make a mistake, Cassie will stumble upon a wooden painted bear. This is Fredbear, with a similar look to the art that YouTuber Dawko shared in one of his videos to promote Ruin before its launch. In fact, among the game's files, this image is named 70s Freddy Ice Cream, referring to the 70s Freddy, who is basically Fredbear. This is the only moment when Cassie can wear the Vanny mask and escape from reality, and thus she forgets that a killer robot is chasing her, leading to this strange ending. The image shows Vanessa, Gregory, and Helpy, whom we don't trust much, having ice cream on the same hill shown in the Security Breach endings. In this ending, it's implied that Cassie loses her mind and retreats into her thoughts to escape the nightmare, but unfortunately she fails, and her fate is to be trapped alongside the Mimic forever. In the Ruin game code, this ending is referred to as the Brazil ending, a reference to the movie Brazil, in which the protagonist manages to escape a horrible fate, only to reveal that he was always trapped and had imagined everything. And now comes the craziest and most revealing ending about the Mimic in FNAF Ruin. Throughout the game, you can access hidden security cameras that will only appear if you zoom out on the map view interface. If you find all 4 cameras, you'll be able to open a secret room that'll be very important for this ending. When Cassie reaches the basement and deactivates the computer security to encounter the Mimic, she finds that he is not the Mimic as we knew him. Well, he is the Mimic, but not in the way we knew him. Instead, he's wearing a mix of animal costumes, which gives him a somewhat funny but terrifying appearance. But why is he dressing like that? In an attempt to deceive Cassie, the Mimic used various disguises found in the catacombs and created a costume to resemble Gregory as closely as possible. Notice how he tried to imitate Gregory's hair, hoodie, and pants using pieces from the other costumes. Obviously, this didn't work out, and it resulted in a terrifying being. Roxy steps in to protect Cassie, just like in the normal ending, and the girl flees through the catacombs until she reaches the area with the elevator, which is collapsed. Instead, thanks to the 4 cameras she hacked during her adventure, a door opens on the left, granting her access to a scooping room, similar to the one in FNAF's sister location. Cassie manages to reach the adjacent room and presses the activation button, trapping the Mimic and disassembling him with a robotic arm that descends from the wall, breaking him down. It's unclear what happens to Gregory in this ending, and the game ends at this point, so it seems that the ending is non-canonical and only serves to show how the mimic lures his victims by using disguises, as was previously mentioned in the Tales from the Pizzaplex books. In the game, there are 3 animal costume models, one of a chicken, another of an elephant, and one of a lion. The costume the mimic wears is a combination of the 3 costumes, based on the lion costume and using parts from the rest of the costumes. This ending doesn't make much sense, but it does show one of the mimic's abilities. Which ending do you think is the true ending of FNAF Ruin? Let us know your opinion in the comments down below, and don't miss the rest of our 5 Nights at Freddy's videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!